This is the ECED. So some cases, quite a few cases. I'm assuming for some of you is the first semester of this stuff. Everybody has been here for more than a semester. Oh, so you know where. Okay, welcome to the course. I posted materials on 12. You have a chance to look at them. Okay. The course is kind of hybrid, but quite not, because only some modules are, and some modules are not. We have looked at the syllabus, pretty detailed. And the reason I make it so detailed is so that you can actually access the information whenever you want to. So if anything is not clear, that should not be a problem with the project. Syllabus. And then we will get to know who we are. I want us to start with something. What we talk about the names and somebody. I made some of the device. Yeah, can you try the last, the switch that has these on the air? Also, that I set up on the oh. Nice. Okay, that's good. Did you just start one? Oh no, no, I don't like that. So let's look at something that is there. We're going to be talking about language. For the rest of the semester, we'll be talking quite a bit about not just language, but how we come to learn language. Language is such it's a familiar thing. We all use language, we all love language. Oh, you're in the wrong place? I'm so sorry. Would love to have you though. All right. Anybody else? You want to come to the time? I'm so excited. Uh-oh. Hey guys. Because you know it's not today, then I know, right? Say it for the first time, that's hard. What would change your mind? Oh, okay. Come back and change your mind. Okay, so we're going to be talking about language quite a bit. And language is such a familiar thing that no introduction is needed. I'm using it right now. And because we share a system, you don't have to struggle to understand what I'm saying. Okay? So it is something in our life, just as we breathe, as we eat, as we walk, as we do all kinds of things. But really, how do you get it? If somebody asks you, how to learn language, what would be the answer? I just learned it, right? I just found myself talking. The first language, how did you become fluent? How did you know? So then, okay, some answer coming through. Thank you. Our parents, yes. How many of you remember your parents teaching you language when you were like 2 days? 1 day old, 2 days old, 1 week old? At some point, actually, we begin to see our parents starting to help us. But up until then, what happens? How come we're so ready to learn language? How can you learn language so fast? In 3 years, you had learned a whole system of language, maybe one, maybe two, maybe more. By 3 years, I had learned two, and I was learning the third one, and I know some of you are the same. How come in the past 3 years you have not learned something so good and mastered it so well? Oh, have you? Karen.
You can basically learn, you make the sound, you get your food or
Right, just like eating. Who taught you how to swallow it? You know when you learn to swallow? You know when you learn to swallow? You did EDF 3, right? You learn to swallow in utero. And if you're swallowing in utero, what do you think you're swallowing? You're muted food. Doesn't sound good, right? But that's how our digestive tracts out. Okay, so before we get too much into chit-chatting, I want you to watch this. Please have an open piece of paper or maybe on your computer, or computers are required for this class, by the way. So maybe start a new note file and just write anything that comes to your mind. Write down anything that comes to your mind as you watch this. If you don't have a computer, well, this is the first time we can handle that, but please make sure you have it, because otherwise it will not be possible.
Exploration, play, and appropriate step by step. And the first 3 months, smile, say it all.
With the bigger picture.
Exploration, play, and appropriate choice are components for the health. right ways to encourage that growth, step by step. I know. In the first months, those first smiles say it all. Spreading close around,
Can you even see that?
building self-esteem, and establishing ways to have fun.
I don't know why they don't. Maybe they don't. Oh, there. you go. Sometimes it's perfectly, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. So right now, anything that comes to mind is what is right.
Exploration, play,
What do you?
step by step. I know. In the first 3 months, those first smiles say it all. Self-esteem. Nice. Opportunity to understand. That is that we
Can you
try
hear
to
that?
have
You can hardly hear that, right?
first these early visual skills, regular traffic.
That's not mine. So let me.
Start
Oh,
with
yes.
objects slowly. Scale
On top of it.
permanent contrast. Voice the strengths, bullseyes, attractive attention. It develops on about 4 months. More than most babies.
You're not going to hear that? No?
These and their own image helps them track, focus, and explore different facial expressions.
That is nice.
Okay. Here, just a few confidence, share the light.
Like it's not coming from here. It's contrast. That's supposed to be the line.
My little ones begin to recognize faces.
Look at you, dear. This.
Faces. They
I'm
also
the first day of class. We get proper music, so let's start. Or I check my own.
voices even from away. Conversation offers comfort as
No, this is your guy. So I'm not.
encourage
But I really don't want us to lose this video. It's very important.
stories, repetitive rhythms from
To me, this was very loud until I moved a little further.
like from
It's not the video. What could it be?
bright logos, security, touch and safety, upper stimulation, signal from sight, hearing. Surrounds that enhance risks or aims, help make connections, movement and growth. Unfold stages of speech as they
Some of these people are so old. So helpful, but sometimes. So I'm going to ask you to just try to listen to the like if you can. So it's really important. When I move closer, just for this, it's only 5 minutes. When I move closer, please, so I can hear. Please do. It's not here. You can. Okay, thank you. incorporated. I don't want to do it.
Exploration, play, and appropriate choice are components for healthy development. And guidance on all the right ways to encourage that growth, step by step. Good style. In the first 3 months, those first smiles say it all. In these pretty close interactions, so important for building self-esteem and establishing ways to have fun. Big stretch. Scrub the parents' faces. Touch. Side to side. Their eyes in the follow. They are able to recognize you from other familiar objects from a distance. And they start to show hand-to-eye coordination and maybe in the vanity that move in front or above them. Encourage these early visual skills with regular practice. At 1 month, babies see best about 8 to 12 inches away. So start by waving objects slowly from a limited range and scale them up speed. Partly because they are sensitive to light, sometimes contrast lines. Toys with stripes and bullseyes attract their attention. Color develops on about 4 months. Before that, most babies see like red. Kids also like to look at themselves. Gazing at their own image helps them track, focus, and explore their facial expressions. Hi, babe. Hold the here just a few inches away. Watch the reaction. Confidence, sheer delight. While holding securely in front of a larger and play reflection by pointing out ears, eyes, and nose. In time, little ones begin to recognize the face they see. They're very young. Fancy in their faces. They also favor human voices over any other sounds. Newborns begin to smile and recognize parents' voices, even from a room away. Conversation offers comfort and they begin to babble back. Encourage their growth with following tips. Read as much as you can. It's never too early. Simple stories and repetitive rhythms are music. It's a play-by-play approach. Babies love to listen as you talk or simple changing diapers or giving a bath. Introduce a variety of software. Bright mobiles securely attached at a safety product offer stimulation for developing both sight and hearing. Consider rattles that attach to wrists or ankles to help make connections between and dogs. Social and emotional development unfolds in babies at this age as they express joy in play and disappointment when the game's over. Their faces and begin to copy the expressions of others. Infants gradually startle defines the movements and begin to move more control and strength. By the end of 3 months, babies raise up their heads and chests, use their arms for support, stretch their legs down. Bear down with their head, open and close their hands, and bring hands to their mouth. Touch. Laugh, joy, and savor the moment. Right now, you are the center of their universe as they learn to live and play. All babies develop at their own pace. Not reaching milestones may get called that should be addressed. Let the nutrition advise you on possible ones. How they can treat step by step. For WebMD, I'm Dr. Margell.
All right. Sorry about the sound. But the good thing is, it's on day 12. You can go back and watch it if you did not get all the details. But this is good enough to get us started. What did you write down?
Yeah, the assessment. I don't know if it's for anyone else, but it's disappearing, so that you have to reactivate those.
Yeah, it's a couple of my mind either.
So they were on back and disappeared.
Everything disappeared at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, this is.
What happened?
The versus system.
Oh, God. Thank you for letting me know.
So I don't have any.
You don't have that handout?
No.
The whole course is 912.
No way.
No.
It took me how many to put it together? Are you kidding me?
It says,
It'll come back.
they're fixing
I'm not gonna touch.
this.
Thank you for letting me know.
Nothing was lost in the lost, but
What time did it say that?
Or it,
4:18? But you said you saw the syllabus. When did you see the syllabus?
On Tuesday.
It was, oh, so you have been able to see it?
Yeah.
But you hadn't gone into the first part?
No.
Okay, that's okay. So, oh. Now, did you write down anything though about what you heard? Oh, okay, let's talk about that. Forget about things that won't work. Let's work with things that work. I know. There was a time I was trying to get into the system when I was in my office and it didn't, and I thought something is off. But when I went into my courses, they were okay. Well, I'm not gonna bother with this, but. I want you to look at what you wrote down. Come back. Okay, she doesn't come back. I have been on my phone. Right, but I cannot. Okay, what did you write down? I had to start hearing from. Oh, this is how I do it. You're going to tell us your name and a little bit of background in terms of the early childhood program, where you are, what you have done, your intentions, and then add what you picked up from the video. That's what's going on. Anybody wants to start? Please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Sana. I'm Montessori. I've been working with kids like 5 years. Now I think that's why I'm here. And I like the video really. And I learned from the video that from 3 months, the kids learn to smile step by step. They build their self-esteem. Babies love to watch faces of their elders. Everybody who's talking to the babies, they love to see the faces. And they build hand and eye coordination, and then the color and vision. The colors of their vision begins to start at 4 months, and then conversation offers comfort. So you can have to read as much as you can, repeat simple rhythms and repeated stories, and try to begin your social skills by talking to them, playing with them. That's it.
Thank you. What did you say your name was?
Fun.
Sana? Oh, thank you, Sana. That's good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sana. You are going to Sudan?
Yeah.
How long have you been working?
Well, I'm still for 5 years, but now I have to apply for my license for early childhood. So I have one.
Are you a TLP student?
Sorry.
Are you a TLP student? Okay. So you're going for the degree?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, thank you so much. I don't know what you said. Yeah. I think you were good. Who's saying that? Okay. This is the class. What's it? Okay, go ahead. What they do? I know one thing.
Am I expecting the way?
Right. That's right. And even though they didn't want it to go on and on and on, when it's over, that's the point. There's no that way so that you can. Oh, what? I've never seen a toilet, but right now I have a toilet anywhere. It has been in school all my life. But you still don't have to. Escape. Obviously, that. Oh, this coming in. Is that next start something? Now. Yes. Have you tried, you haven't tried this, try with it. For very young babies, before they, I think before they walk, you know, about 7 months up before 1 year. Show them a mirror, and then they'll look at, very younger. They'll look at it, stare at it, and then try to ignore it, and then it will work. The funniest part is when they go behind it. Have you said that? Try it. Thank you so much for it. Yes, I know you right. Okay, tell everybody else.
I think this video, probably not working.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Like your own baby?
no, like,
Okay.
up to the experience.
Right.
From what I got from the video,
Yeah, it's never too early. You hear that? Yeah,
I fully
thank you very much.
understand where to start. From that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Thank you. Those of you who have done school 6, you will remember that it's really not what you're reading them, it's the voice, the tone of voice and the communication, the non-verbal, you know, visuals that they see. It's a lot of cases. Research has been done everywhere that repeatedly. You know, brain research goes back to yeah, but now there's a lot of brain research. What's happening? They have found amazing. One of them is the newborn babies infants on the human face. So you show them pictures. One, it's bright, nice. The yeah, the brightness kind of attracts them, but the human face is more. For some reason, they can't get the stuff. So the baby will just focus on more than on another object, even the same similar. All right, let's go to the phone. Yeah, thank you, Matt.
My name is Rachel.
Rachel, yes, I know a lot of Rachel's but
I have previously worked in child daycare settings, and my goal is to be a licensed teacher for the kindergarten versus second grade.
okay.
And something that I learned from the video is that exploration and playing the biggest space.
Yes, because they're exploring with their eyes, with their, they're actually with their mouths too. They like to see how things feel in the mouth. It's Rachel,
So,
Delphi, okay,
I'm a person. And,
that's okay, you'll get there.
my third semester and it's something I learned from the video that they
Yes. Yes, that is true. Thank you so much, Delphi. And
My name is Katya.
how do you pronounce it?
Katya.
Okay, Katya. Are you TLP student?
Yes.
Oh, I think so. Okay. Yeah.
I've been substituting pretty much full time for the last 3 years. Grade. And one of the takeaways that I read from the video was about keeping updated with your new doctor about milestones and how that come back
Right.
later in life.
Right. That is true. And they also, she also mentioned that every child develops at their own pace. But when things don't happen, even with that within that window, later you may have to think back what happened. So the earlier you start communicating and keeping track of the baby's milestone, step by step, the better. All right, thank you. Familiar face.
As of right now, I work in a daycare and for 2 years I'm a lead teacher at a daycare. And my goal is to become a kindergarten teacher as well as teaching sign language because I was just diagnosed hard of hearing. So it's like my goal right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So going with that, I could not do video.
You'll see. You can. Do you have something to help?
I'm trying to avoid them right.
Did you have it last semester? I thought you did.
Huh?
Last semester, did you have them?
I just got diagnosed in December.
Oh, really? Okay. So, but it's not too bad. You can hear me.
I can hear you. I'm just 60% deaf.
Really? Yeah. That's pretty good. If 60 is not that, you know, what you are now, you can hear. Isn't that
It's
bad?
more I can't hear from the side or behind me so well.
Also, you have to be.
And I learned to read your lips last semester.
Oh, I'll be talking like that.
Like that,
Oh, you would have a hard time hearing?
yeah.
Oh, so you do lip reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good strategy. Thank you, Nerys. Yes.
I'm Nancy. I worked in a preschool for about almost 7 years.
Ooh.
I worked as a teacher for like a summer program for just a summer. And then I took the role of a parent coordinator in the same school.
Yeah.
From the video, I thought I know that babies can't see color, but I didn't know like exactly when. So that was an interesting fact. That's what
Yes.
babies benefit from their reflection, from seeing their reflection and seeing things.
Thank you so much. And
My name is Sandra. I've worked before with preschool students and kindergartners, but I currently work as a library resource assistant. For the video, I would say babies are very visual and auditory, so talking to them a lot and music really stimulates their sight. Yes. No. Why is your face so familiar? I remember you from I think this was in the summer. I believe you were part of the staff that was. Yes. Yeah.
okay. Sandra, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I work at a park district in the tactics wing, so I teach kids aspects of grade knowing. I want to become a kindergarten teacher. Something I noticed in the video is that I didn't realize that babies like looking at themselves. But it's not something we
Yes.
smart enough to know.
Oh,
who
they
are.
are. One of the
So,
little things.
yeah, so it was interesting to see that like compare with yourself.
Absolutely. There are so many ways to play with things. You said gymnastics. Language and gymnastics. So how going to manage it too? Language, there's not much talking in gymnastics, right?
I mean, it's more like
Yeah.
recognizing
Mhm.
like key words. So, like
Oh, yeah.
because I teach all
Maybe concepts too.
yeah, because I teach all sorts of age ranges.
Mhm.
So I'm happy when I get to teach preschoolers and kindergarten, and sometimes I can work with like fourth graders.
It's
So it's like
That's all for you.
there's something.
We got to teach high school if you do it.
But yeah,
That's why I love college students. They know what they want. They come here because they need to. You ask them to do things, they do it. I love that. And I've taught from kindergarten all the way up. The only gap I haven't taught is probably about grade 12 and 13, but I've taught grade 14, undergrad and graduate. So college is my way of life. It's good. All right, we're here now. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Arpad.
My name is Mandy,
Mandy.
and I am a teacher assistant at a daycare for 3 years now.
Wow.
I started in 2021, the November,
Right.
the day after my birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
now we know it.
It's on the, my birthday's on the 2nd.
Oh, I
And they
see.
start on the 3rd.
Right.
Yeah. From the video, like about the shapes of when there's a mentioning about the colors, the
Mhm.
shapes that like stimulate the vision.
Yeah.
That part I found it very interesting
Right.
about like how the bullseye
Like the
or
rattles, yeah.
yeah, certain shapes and colors attract the vision of the baby.
Absolutely. Do you remember the dangling rattle that they had? How the baby was kind of engaging with that. They kick, they stretch their little limbs, but I don't think they know the difference between legs and arms at that time. They use them same way, in similar ways. So the way they react to it, it tells you that they really, really like it. So we have a lot of people who have been in the classroom, which is a very good advantage. Karen, looks like the leader of them all in the classroom.
Yeah. It's too old.
Oh, come on.
I came back. I graduated. I came back. I was in the Army, and I only used 40 units of 120 units. So I'm using my benefits from the veteran.
Right.
Like, okay, so
And learning doesn't end, by the way. Wait until
no,
I'm
it keeps
retired.
going.
I'm going to start something new when I'm 80.
Yeah,
How about that?
yeah. But I've been a teacher in a 3-year-old preschool. I've been doing this for quite a while. At one time I was in an infant room, and I think the younger they are, the more alert you have to be.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be so on top of everything in the infant room.
Oh, yeah.
But it's true with the connecting the noise, the sound, and the movement for babies.
Yeah.
Their smile and a tone and calmness
Yeah.
helps.
That is true. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, because the younger they are, the more dependent they are on you. They're just depending on you for stimulation. And that stimulation is, something that hits their eyes, something that hits their ears, something that touches their skin, any sensory input that is coming in, that's what draws their attention. So yes, when they're very young, they need you 100% of this. Thank you. And here we
My name's Malaya.
Malia. Okay.
Shopping center right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been there forever.
Really? How
Yeah.
many years?
This school I've been here for maybe about 3 years.
Okay.
Seems like forever.
Okay. Oh, do you like it though?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to do is teach nothing above the 3rd grade. Nothing above the 3rd grade.
Nothing about it.
Right. So 3rd grade
Yeah.
and but 2. I got it on.
Okay.
But that's something additional.
Yeah.
I guess they said something about they can't really see. It was like 7 years or something, 8.
You're
something.
bringing up, I'm so glad I did this, because everybody brought up something important. Go ahead, keep talking.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never heard that.
I'll talk about it.
How they can't.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I've never heard that before. So
That's an interesting point. I'm so glad you mentioned that. It was interesting my mind. And this is why I have this right there, so you can go and watch them when you're on. Every time I watch even the same video, I learn something new. Really. I learned a detail that I didn't learn the first time, or the second time, or the third time I watched about the scene. Nature is so perfect. I don't know what to call it. It's nature. We say it's God, it's creator, whatever that is. Babies, when they're born, their vision and hearing begin to develop in the 2nd trimester. You did EDFN 3, right? Maybe from somewhere child development in utero. The 2nd trimester is what month? So what month? Remember the 3 trimesters of pregnancy? 1 to 3, 4 to 6, and 7 to 9. So between 4 months and 6 months of pregnancy, that's when the fetus begins to develop some sort of hearing. It's not clear hearing. It's some sort of hearing, the way you would hear some voices if you are in a swimming pool, maybe at the deep end. And some sense of seeing, not quite. If you look at a picture of a fetal development in the 2nd trimester, the eyes like from here to here. From here to here. It's like when they grow, when the head grows, they grow back together rather than growing big. Yet you really have to look at this. When you see a video of a pregnancy, in the fetus, second trimester, that eye. It was scary the first time, but then I realized, oh, so they grow together. And did you also know that babies' eyes do not change in size? The eyes you have, the size of the eyes you have are pretty much the same size when you were born. That's why babies are so cute, because the eyes are big when they have these big, clear eyes. And then we grow up and start seeing bad things, and the eyes become smaller, not so clear anymore. No, I'm kidding. But they don't grow that much in relation to the head. In fact, the rest of the face grows to match to the size, depending on the genetics of that person. But the eyes don't grow much. Read about it. Now, about seeing. You know how nature makes the mother prepare food for the unborn baby? And then when the baby is born, boom, there's lunch, right? Now, the distance between the eyes and the lunch is exactly the distance where the baby can see the best. Shorter, they don't. Longer, they don't. It is that much. So when the baby is being breastfed, the mother's eye and the baby's eye, that contact is so important cognitively, emotionally, visually. I don't know how nature can, but that is science. That's why the mothers who have some health issues, they cannot breastfeed, they pump the milk and still use that. It's the perfect vision for baby. I was so surprised when I'm telling you, brain research has brought up a lot of information. Just your curiosity that will bring up more and more and never finish learning. I've been teaching about this for over 20 years, and I still need to every time I see some new research findings, maybe in terms of a paper, in terms of a journal article, or in a video. I like the short videos because they just go to the point. Yeah, does that answer your question? Yes. And that babies are breastfed for about a year and a half, most. One of my sons on a year. But by that time, the vision is done. So the best distance for them to see clearly when they're newborn is between their lunch and your eyes. So as it was planned by whoever, that is the perfect distance. That's about 8 feet. Yeah, was the baby right there? Yeah. Thank you so much. So we started out that way, and I'm glad we can talk about that. Now, because the sound is not so good, there was another video that I wanted to share, but I think I can share it later once we figure out why the sound is not coming up. This thing is supposed to be sound, but it kills it. When you put it, even the computer doesn't get sound. No other way to go. There's no other place to go. So this course is about learning what language development, how babies develop language. That is only half of the story, though. The bigger part of the story is how can we, as teachers of young children, help the children, help parents and the children have the best language learning experience. That is our goal. There are many theories, we'll see that later. There are different theories. Some people, oh, don't just talk. You say, oh, don't just talk. Well, the effort that you put in to help them through that process makes a big. The bottom line, we know, logically, is that the language that the child is exposed to will be picked up by that language. By that child, easier when there are support activities, interactions, okay, spending time with the child, and using language. They have to get the word language. They have to be bombarded with human voices and interactions and eye contact. We'll talk about it. Now, before I take it to the syllabus, I don't know if I open it up. Let's talk about some right. Let's talk about this. If you were, I did ask this before, but I'm going to ask it again. If somebody said, "What is language?" what would be your response? How would you respond? What is? Write something down. Doesn't matter what it is. You're not going to show that to me. What is language? Just write something down, and you'll keep coming back to it. What is language? Question mark? That is waiting for an answer. If you have the answer now, scribble it down before you forget, so don't lose any ideas coming to your mind. The next question is, what is speech? So question 1, what is language? Question 2, what is speech? If any answer comes to your mind, write it down before you forget. Question 3, what is communication? Okay, those are the 3 questions that we'll keep thinking about as we keep talking and move from one thing. So what is language? Any answer coming to your mind, please write down. If it's adding or crossing out something that's up to you, you're not going to learn that. What is speech? That's the other question you're grappling with. And what is communication? If you get those 3 questions kind of answered some way, not perfectly necessarily, but if you get them answered somewhere tonight, you're the winner. Not because they are hard, but because, you know, we go through some journey to really get it together. Okay. So we're going to do an activity. If you've done this before, pretend you don't remember it. So that makes sense. And I'm going to try and use that same activity to address 2 of these questions. Maybe all of them. But think of something. From now, no writing, put your pen down. No writing. You're not writing anything. All right. You know, push away from your computer a little bit. Think of something. That something could be a place, could be an object, could be a person, could be an event. Think of that thing. Can I say writing? So that something can be anything. Could be a story, could be a good meal, could be a trip, could be anything, really. Now, once you have that in your brain, give it a name in your brain. Don't write it anywhere, just give it a name. Now you have 2 things. You have something you thought about. Can be an object, can be an event, can be a place, can be anything. And now that has a name too, right? Are we together? Okay, keep that name in your mind as well. We're moving to this 3rd thing. The 3rd thing, think of an adjective to give to that thing which you thought about and gave a name to. That adjective can be big, can be small, can be bad, can be horrendous, can be interesting, can be lovely, can be cuddly, can be stinky, it can be anything, pleasant, unpleasant. So you have something, that something has a name, and now that something with a name has an adjective. Just one is good enough, one adjective. So you have three things. Your brain is holding three things right now. Okay? The last thing, how you felt about it. Because it could be something good, but you didn't like it, could be something bad. Okay, but I learned from it. Or you relate to it in a way. Because those three things about the object or the trip or the thing or the event, the name is about the event, the adjective is about the event. Now you have another chat. I mean, the fourth thing is how you felt about that. Let me know when you have that impressed in your mind. Yeah, in the past before they started, I think they were really smart. They'll carry everything in their head. See how much you're dying to write things down? No, right. Are you ready? Do you need more time? You want me to remind you what you're thinking about? You have it. So something with a name, with an adjective, and how you relate to it. You ready? Okay, game time. Now, you are going to work with one other person. You can just stand up and walk to that person. Or I don't like it when you do it seated because it's a lazy way. Stand up, walk to some person, stand there because no talking. From now on, you have no mouth. You can laugh because you can laugh, but absolutely no words, no whispering, nothing. You don't have, if you talk, you ruin it and we'll just stop there. So stand up, walk to some place, find someone. No talking, absolutely not talking. Get out of the desk so you have space. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to move those three thoughts, actually four thoughts, from your brain to the other person's brain without talking. You can use your hands, you can use your legs, you can use your body in any way. You can jump, you can crawl, you can sit on the floor, you can do whatever you want. You can laugh, but absolutely no talking. And I'm going to allow 5 minutes. So one person does it, finishes, and then the other person does it. If you kind of go back and forth, that mixes it up. So give your partner a chance to finish. And when they're finished, it's your turn to do the same. Remember, you're transferring that information from your brain to your partner's brain, absolutely not talking, but you're free to use anything else. You can pull out your hair, you can, oh, no, don't remove my clothes. You can twist, you can dance, you can jump, anything, go. I can hear whispering. Don't do that. Get enough space in case you have to squat or something. You cannot talk. Not even ask a question at this point. Just transfer that thought to the other person's head without words. Use your body every way you can. You can use things in the room too. You can pick up something if you want and show. I can hear whispering. Cheating.
I would just come.
Absolutely not. So that's cheating. When you're done, switch. The next, your partner now can tell you. You can laugh. When you want. Okay. Are you writing? No. You can laugh. You can let it talk. When both of you are done, you can go sit down. Then I'll know you're done. Oh, everyone. Oh. Raise your hand. No talking. Still not talking. Raise your hand if you think your partner understood you perfectly well. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you think your partner, if you think you understood your partner perfectly well. That's interesting. Again, raise your hand if you think your partner understood you very, very well. Raise your hand if you think you understood your partner very, very well. Raise your hand if you think you did not understand each other at all. Raise your hand and think, maybe you understood each other, but not quite perfectly. Raise your hands. Oh, right. Okay, not talking. Now you can talk. First of all, talk to your partner to clarify what you're saying.
Now I understand. Yeah. Yeah.
Now that you have cross-checked, were you right when you said you understood your partner very well? Or were you right when you said that your partner understood you very well? Were you correct? Okay, you can talk one at a time. Raise your hand and talk. Talk about what you need and what you're focused.
So Delphi told me, that she went on a plane ride and she relaxed and that's. Then I found out now she had to fix.
Oh,
That
so how much of that did you get before you started talking?
I don't know pretty much all of it.
Oh, really?
I don't know where she went, but I knew she went somewhere nice and relaxed and on vacation.
What about you? Do you understand that?
I understood perfectly about she like the gestures there.
Yeah.
So I understood that she was driving. She got a pad. I wasn't sure if it was a pad. She explained that.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Anything in addition that you got after talking?
fine details.
Yeah,
like
Greece,
where
yeah.
she went.
Where? What about you?
It was just, I was doing it.
The cat or dog? Okay, all right. Any other pair? Please, go ahead. Sana.
So she was saying, I got the word right, which was the water.
Mhm.
She showed me the water, which I was right, but she think of the object, which is her water. I was guessing about the swimming. I understood the word water. But the next thing were not clear to me.
Okay, you say the word. That's interesting. How did you get the word what? She was
Water,
not-
because she showed me her water bottle and she was shaking. the
Oh,
water
she was sure the word about.
Yeah, so I got the word water,
Yeah.
but I was like, I was thinking that she's thinking about swimming or something like that. She said, no, I was like doing swimming and showering and she said, no, no, no. But now I got to know that the word was the water bottle, not the water. And for me, she got it right.
Oh, let her talk about it. So
Yeah.
what about the one that did she say about the one? What about the what about?
Water bottle, yeah.
What about it?
It was big and it has a cap. That's it.
Right? That was quick. What about you, Selena?
That she was like,
Yeah.
but I think it was like. Yeah. I told her that love. So I was telling about the first love. And she thought that it's the marriage, but something before marriage, right? First, love. And then I showed caring, and then complete and loving that then.
So what was brought up by her words that you did not get by the justice?
Like how the murder. Thought she
Okay. Oh, I see. You thought it was running. It was just love. Who went to that? Oh, yeah, I remember. Another, okay, another pair. Let's hear maybe two more. Please, go ahead.
I understood her more than I thought, and then.
Oh, you understood her more than you thought?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
same
good.
thing. Yeah.
So
Like
what were the
the,
messages?
hot, that was easy, and dancing,
Mhm.
that was easy. But I just didn't know where.
So,
So it was like a music festival. She was saying two, because it's a 2-day, festival, and then he was trying to like spell it. But I could, but then we couldn't do that, and I
Yeah.
didn't really understand it.
Mhm. And about what about you guys?
But first, she was like doing him saying she was flying, as well as she was saying ha and sleeping. So like I understood that she was resting, flying somewhere, huh? But I couldn't put together that she was going to Florida for a vacation.
Okay. So what did words bring out that you didn't get from her and didn't get from her? How did words help? You understood more, you understood more than you thought. So it got a clearer picture than what you had thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just.
Did you add anything?
Make sense, right?
Let's hear from one other pair. If not everybody's dying, so you guys were interested on the phone. Okay.
I was just trying to understand how, but it's hard for me to talk. But before I spoke with her, I got that she flew somewhere with someone. I got mom. That's just what I thought, mom.
Yeah.
And they got on the carousel.
Mhm.
Now after I talked to her, her and her daughter flew with her mom to New York to Central Park to get on the carousel.
Oh, you got quite a bit of it. What about you, Karen?
Before I knew, I thought it was I thought she was the little sister. Her bigger sister was anxious, but she's the big sister and she worried about her little sister who's taller than her. I know how that feels. And you worry about her choices that she makes.
So you guys have the same dilemma. She thought it was mom and you, but happened that you are the mom, there's another mom and your daughter.
Yeah.
And the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, Idea in the part?
I felt like it was a little hard for us to understand.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't laugh.
Oh, because I was like, so she was running and then like a no gesture, and then like sleeping.
Mhm.
So I thought he said she didn't want to be here, just wants to go up and sleep.
Oh, really?
I thought, I feel the same way, so that's why I thought that.
Yeah.
And when we talked, he was like, no, I get tired of wanting. Okay.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so that was, what about him? What is the,
So
What did
first
you-
I understood like someone like this, I thought he was like going like basketball or something.
Mhm.
Like I said, we're going back and forth of like he would explain it to me and then I would like, no, I didn't understand, so it took me some time. After we talked and understood, it was completely like the opposite thing, saying that scrap passed away, girl have the Netflix.
Wow, yeah, that was hard to say. Okay. So words actually clarify most of it. There's only two more pairs left. Let's hear from them.
For us, we kind of had the same idea, but a different way of kind of using our bodies to describe it.
Oh,
We both kind of ended up thinking about food.
Yeah.
But it was just hard to kind of like, for me, it was tamales. And I'm like, they're delicious. But it was hard for me to kind of let her know was, you know, how to describe family and tradition, why it was important to her, or why it reflected with on it.
okay.
So it was just easier when we were able to talk that she was able to tell me what food it was and describe it.
And for you?
Yeah, when I was watching her I kind of understood it was food, and I thought it might be Mexican food too. Yeah.
What about what you told her?
I was thinking about pear, the fruit pear.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah. So I did the motion of the pear, draw the fruit out and stuff.
Oh,
And I'm not sure if she got it, but like we both think about food.
but tamales is pretty difficult to kind of say the specific.
Right. But I just kind of made the
So
gesture. I was like, it was a food, but
Yeah, I
wanted to talk
understood it
more
was food.
specific of what
So
it
we have
was.
a space for words for it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's go to Rachel and I'm taking that. Okay, go ahead.
My perspective of her or
Doesn't matter. What was Rachel trying to tell you?
she was trying to say she had most of like words are, but she's doing actually writing, so I thought she was writing that.
Okay, and what was she telling you? Got it down? Did you understand it right away? Okay, so even the animal, it is the words that brought that idea out. How did you show the dog? But I think that's
Like, she got this.
okay.
Like emotion,
Yeah,
and like the tail wag.
yeah, I think one year he would do it. No. Okay, how do you show a dog without words? What's the best way to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, barking? Oh, you were not supposed to talk. Is barking talking? You wanted to ask me a question. What was that? But you couldn't talk. Remember you wanted to ask something and I did that? Yeah, you wanted to forget it. Yeah, someone else wanted to listen. Anyway, go back those three questions and revise it. After the second, we go back to the answers to those questions. Are they the same? Are you putting out some words? Are you adding some words? What is language? What is speech? What is communication? Are you changing anything? Okay, let us hear some answers. What is language? Talk about language. What is language?
I wrote down a form of communication.
A form of communication, okay. And tell me your name again, please. I'm sorry. Terrell, okay.
Communication through words.
Communication through words. Let's have another one, Sarah.
Before the activity, I would need the communication, but after the activity, I would language is important.
That's what it's making.
Yeah. Because
All right.
it's tough.
Okay. Yes, please. I'm trying to remember the name. Hattigan.
At first, I wrote a form of expression, but then afterwards, I said what type of words or verbiage.
Any other definition of language? No, but- okay, Karen.
I was saying the sound word system, but then I was thinking, kind of hearing science, like they have meetings to their science.
Okay, remember that most of you said you got something from your partner even before talking. And even your partner said they did understand something before you started talking. So do you really have to use words? Okay. We're getting somewhere. So language, briefly put, is a system of communication. Language is a system of communication. It can be verbal or non-verbal. Doesn't have to be words. Can be gestures. Can be signs. Okay? Language is a system of communication. That is one thing. What about speech? What is speech?
I wrote words put together.
Words put together. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, that goes on. Can it be a little bit more complex? Speech. Words put together. If language is a system of communication, and you can communicate using words or otherwise, so what is speech? Think about it. Is that a speech?
It could force them.
Yeah, Cheryl. Vocalizing what? Like Googling when you're just brushing your teeth and the mumbling. No, Selena?
Using your word, using your words.
Yes, please. Sandra.
Could it be more specific words or sounds that are specific to what you want?
Okay, so what is speech? Just say speech is.
Speech is specific sounds or words to express your needs.
Somebody was trying to say something.
Speech is a dialogue.
Okay. Yeah. Now that you've thought enough about it, language, speech, first of all, I'm going back to language. Language, simply put, is a system of communication. It doesn't have to be verbal, doesn't have to use words, but some sort of system to send message from one brain to another brain. Now, speech is a verbal system of communication. It's a system of communication that uses words. If you say sound, you are really getting off because that is a sound, that's not speech, right? It has to be a system. By system, we mean people sharing. One person makes those sounds and the listener puts them together in a way that they make sense. Do you know what I mean? I wish the second video was actually accessible right now, the third one. And because of sound, can you go back on B12 and see if you can watch the third video on that worksheet? Some of you don't have everything as well. Can you share some?
Still not working.
And, okay, then I have no choice but to do this. I'm going to do this.
Don't you reactivating it? Has anyone showed it to your DTL? Is that teacher reactivate your account?
Well, make it active again.
Activate.
Yeah, you have to.
Maybe you'll help.
The teacher rejected it. The teachers rejected it. They need to activate me. I'm gonna look at by what email? I haven't read my. Okay, let me go back because this is really important. Starting into my lesson. Okay. Got it? What you have. So, hold on, let me do this again. I'm gonna make it active again. To see if you can actually. Let's pause that again. And I'm going to say, I don't think it is checked. The box is checked.
That
Oh, look at that. So what happened? What is wrong? Now the third video, let me show you what. Okay, I look at one. So one here, and here, and going to content, and the one to the content. And the first video, what the second one, there's something that you want to say to them sometime. This one, try to watch that. It's not that long, but it is good. Can you accept it now? Please share with someone upon. And then what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Language, yeah. And then on the worksheet, the last. The last one. Okay. Oh, okay.
So let's Okay.
You know what? Go down to module one. Module one. Which one? You didn't get out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Go down. Suggestion is the last. Skip the last. Yes, still nothing. Yeah, this is part of what the video is. I don't know why I didn't get a picture of the video. I'm getting a picture. The website. Can you show someone just so no? Yeah. Or can put it.
Functions. It's localized specifically in one hemisphere of the brain. Language is one such function as highly localized in the left hemisphere. Attempts to understand this person can't help us understand full lateral state. So let's take a look at how the brain processes language. The both theory of lateral state proposes that the left hemisphere find one of them. But our ability to make a variety of noises with our mouths is far from the whole story when it comes to language. Unlike other animals, we are able to take a finite set of elements which comprise some alphabet and use them to express any idea imaginable, new or old, concrete or abstract. Even monkeys and whales and dolphins, which do exhibit rudimentary forms of speech, can't do what we do. They do not have such fine motor control for speech so as to produce the distinct syllables that we can. But they are also not as hardwired as we are to be able to perceive and comprehend these sounds, something that is innate in humans, which are able to learn their parents' languages remarkably quickly in infancy. What are the specific areas of the brain that are responsible for this capacity? Two critical regions are called Broca's area and Wernicke's area. The first of these is responsible for the motor functions that allow us to formulate syllables with our mouths. Since damage to this area results in impairment of this function without affecting the ability to understand language. The second area is the one that is responsible for the understanding of language. Since damage to this region does not impair the ability to vocalize, but results in complete nonsense being spoken. These two regions, together with the basal nuclei, form a language implementation system that analyzes words that are heard and produces our own speech in response. A surrounding set of cortical areas links this system with other regions of the cortex that are responsible for conceptualization of ideas, essentially enabling us to communicate our thoughts. This highlights the features of language that are lateralized, though there are functions of the opposing hemisphere that are also relevant, which allow us to interpret the nonverbal components of language, such as body language, gestures, and any kind of tone or quality that would signify the emotional content of what is heard. Much of what we have mentioned so far can be considered part of the Wernicke-Geschwind model. This is comprised of 7 components, 2 of which are Broca's area and Wernicke's area, which we just discussed. The others are the primary visual cortex, angular gyrus, primary auditory cortex, arcuate fasciculus, and the primary motor cortex. All of these are in the left hemisphere of the brain, not surprisingly. Now let's trace the brain activity that occurs during a conversation. According to this model, when you are listening to someone talk, their voice is converted into signals that are sent to the primary auditory cortex and then conducted to Wernicke's area. This is where we can imagine that the words are actually comprehended, as this is where the neural representation of the thought underlying the reply is generated, which is then sent via the arcuate fasciculus over to Broca's area. From there, information is sent to the primary motor cortex, which controls the muscles in your mouth so that you may respond. Instead, when reading aloud, the visual information of the written words is sent to the primary visual cortex, and this information is transmitted to the angular gyrus, which translates the written word into the corresponding auditory signal and sends that to Wernicke's area for comprehension. The rest follows the same path already outlined. We should note that this is simply a model and is likely somewhat an oversimplification of brain function. There is empirical evidence to support this model relating to patients with brain injuries in specific areas and the observation of the type and severity of function loss. But the model is not flawless. It can't account for all of the data, and not all of it.
About speech. Said quite a lot of things. What side of the brain is activated by speech? Left hemisphere. Okay. What 2 areas did he highlight that have to do with language? Broca's area and Wernicke's area. Broca's being in the front and Wernicke's being in the back. So Broca's, all right. So when you hear auditory input comes to your brain and translate, that's why I say a system, because you have to share that system with the person who's producing those sounds, otherwise your brain cannot decode that. So if I start speaking in another language, I'm always putting it on the same thing. Right? I said you will understand what I'm saying. You have to follow me, you know what I'm saying. Because you don't share the system. That was exactly. So we have to share the system that I'm using so that the brain can be activated and you get the meaning back. Well, the meaning doesn't come in. The Broca's area has to send, the information has to go to the Wernicke's area, then to the motor cortex. And actually, what other studies said is that the left hemisphere has to talk to the right hemisphere in a way, has to activate some parts in the right hemisphere for prosody. What is prosody? Prosody is the, you know how you can talk like a machine? If you say something without out and down in your thought, nobody understands like a robot. Okay, prosody This is in the right hemisphere. So when the information comes in, it goes to the awareness area, goes to the motor cortex, comes back. The motor cortex is what actually activates the mouth cavity, and you learn about that. The mouth cavity, the articulators, the instruments you have in your mouth to produce certain sounds using that system of language. Because you could use those articulators and sounds for another system of language. The brains are so complicated, it's amazing. We take it for granted. But that the process goes, so you can imagine how fast we talk, how quickly we can understand what we're talking. Sometimes we're listening to multiple conversations. So I wanted to highlight that part where it says it's a system that the input, the auditory input comes through your ears, perceived by your brain. Those two areas, Broca's area, Winnick's area, work with the right hemisphere. I don't want anybody to imagine that language is only housed in the left hemisphere. Studies show that 95% of the people studied, 95% of the people studied, people who had brain damage and experiments with young children, the left hemisphere was activated. So it is pretty consistent that the language faculty is in the left hemisphere. Broca's area, Winnick's area. They work together. But they also use the motor cortex, which activates your articulators to produce certain sounds in a specific system. That's what we think about. What about the children who grew up bilingual? By 3, they're already speaking 2 languages. And you can imagine how much that is working to activate the right system to talk. And in the past, it was perceived that children who are bilingual are probably being delayed because they're not learning any of the languages. Now, brain research found out later that their brains were working so much harder, and they were so much more advanced in things like meta-linguistic awareness. So you can imagine, because there are so many systems they already have, and each system has to work differently. We'll get there when we talk about multiple languages. But the point is the data that comes into the brain has to be interpreted because it's auditory. It's coming through these satellite shoots here. So it has to make sense and the response to it. And muscles activated so that the right response is sent. All right, so that's a long way to find those words. Oh, did I tell you that if you find these 3 words here? We've done a lot today. And we just signed it. What about communication? We talked about language, we talked about speech. What about communication? What is communication? I don't want to worry about it. So I'm going to have you do one more thing and then we'll move on past. If we don't get to, we'll talk about the details of the syllabus and probably my next class if you can. What I want you to do now is to think of one thing. Think of the one thing. Now at least you know what communication is. Because you exchange, and as you said, language is a system of communication. And you say speech is a verbal system of communication. So you know what we're talking about. Now think of the one thing which you do that does not communicate. The one thing that you do and does not send messages whatsoever to someone nearby or someone sick. What is the one thing that you do that does not communicate? Okay, write it down so we have to memorize. What is the one thing that you do? And when you do that, someone else sees that, it doesn't send a message to that person. What did you write down? I heard sing. Okay. Anybody else? Being on your phone?
Like,
So that is communication to you. So it's sending a message from yes, so anything else? Being silent. Being silent. What do you think about that? Does silence communicate? Imagine you're with a partner, a friend, a dorm mate, a husband, a child, a workmate, and all day they're not talking to you. Are they communicating something? What did you think? Start saying, did I do something before? Okay. What is the one thing that you do that does not communicate? Yeah. Imagination. Okay. What do you do when you're thinking and imagining? Yeah. So when you look at someone who's thinking about anything, you don't have to get it right. You don't have to get exactly what they're thinking about. Can you tell they're thinking? Okay. Tell me the one thing that you do that does not communicate. Rachel.
It's not eye contact, you can't really tell.
So if you see someone avoiding eye contact, it doesn't tell you anything?
Well, they're avoiding it, does, but it is space, exactly sometimes.
Or somebody staring into infinity.
No, like someone that gives you eye contact, you know, they're really not, they can't really tell.
But it tells you something, but they're not paying attention. Yes. When you're sleeping, you're not communicating. Is that true? Richard, please. Is it true that when you're sleeping, you're not communicating? What would your roommate say if you're sleeping at the time when you're not supposed to be sleeping? Yeah, that's a message right there. You're tired. What is the one thing you do that does not communicate? Somebody says when you die. Well, when you die, you communicate a lot. They start burning you. When you wake up fast. So the short answer is everything you do communicates. Yes, if you run, you communicate. If you walk slowly, you communicate. If you eat fast, you communicate. If you don't eat, you communicate. If you have a heavy jacket on, you communicate. Everything you do is sending a message. It doesn't have to be the right message. People don't have to get the right message that you're sending, but it's a message nevertheless. How we appear, how we talk, since we started class, for those of you who have never had me in class, some of you have. For those of you who have never had me in class, since I started talking, since I started teaching this class today, first year class, it's about an hour into class, a little bit more. You have got an idea of who I am. Is that right? An idea of what the professor is like. So everything communicates. If I walk around, I'm communicating. If I'm quiet for a few seconds, I'm communicating. Everything you do communicates. It doesn't have to send the right message. Sometimes the messages go past each other. You don't get it, the listener doesn't get it. Nevertheless, it is communication. So communication is now this is a I'm glad you guys are talking about. When I send a message to someone, and that message gets to that person's brain and the process like so in that video, have I communicated? Have I sent a message to someone? So communication as sending of message, yes. If I know I have sent a message. Okay. Now if I do this to someone, I have sent a message. What they get to understand by the sign, that's irrelevant because in some persons that means don't come here. In some other persons, well, maybe wait or I don't know, it could mean something else depending on context. So they're sending a message from one brain to another, and the other brain receiving the same message. That is amazing. And that brain sending a message back is even better because that is constantly the person after that what to say. So communication is exchange of messages. Exchange of messages. You can use words, you can use signs, you can use body language, whatever you want, but sometimes it doesn't get to the exchange of messages, but it does send a message to that person. And you may get a wrong message back. Okay? You may get a wrong message back, but the message got to the other person anyway. And we'll continue to clarify. So what do you think language plays in our lives? Where would you rate it from 1 to 5? 1, nothing at all, 5, just about it. Where would you rate it? Without language, we would struggle, right? Imagine communicating without language. I'm going to run you through this because it's important. Now that we know what language is, what speech is, and what communication is, we're kind of looking deeper into language. What is in language? In language, there are speech sounds. We call them phonemes. Can you say phonemes? Not phonics, phoneme. Those are speech sounds. I'm just giving you the gist of it, the core of it. There's also semantics, which has to do with the meaning of what is being uttered. Meaning of utterances. And please, it is not meaning of uterus, because I've heard that a million times. It is meaning of utterances. Can you say utterance? Thank you. Utterances, that's a lot. Syntax, this is the grammar, how you organize words so that the sentence makes sense. Morphemes, now, sometimes I get confusion between phoneme and morpheme. Please don't confuse them. This is morpheme. That is phoneme. Now, morpheme is actually the smallest unit of meaning. And I'll give you just a hint because I don't want to get into detail right now. If I say book, that is a standalone morpheme. It's one word, one meaning, book. You get an idea, book. If I say books, it is that idea, but many more. So the S at the end of book is a morpheme. That inflection, it adds, changes to plural. Likewise, if I say walk, that's a morpheme, you know, the act of walking. If I say walking, the ing, the gerund, is another morpheme. So there are components. The morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning in one word. We'll talk about that next class. We don't have time to go into details right now. And then we have pragmatics. This is where language used within context becomes really important. Sometimes you say one thing, it means something else. You say it in another context, it means something else. Appropriate use of language within context, or just language used within context. That's pragmatic. Why am I giving you this summary? I'm giving you this because it's it's the core of the course. By the end of the course, you're going to know this like the back of your hand. Because language is made of this, all this makes language. The speech sounds, the meaning of the words that are uttered, the sentence structure, the units of meaning in one word, and the situation or the context in which we're exchanging that word of communication. And with that, I can stop here to see if you have any questions, and then we'll talk about the syllabus. I just wanted to highlight, we'll go into depth with these, and we'll continue from here next class. But I want to go into the details of the syllabus so that any questions? Now you know what languages, what we're going to be talking about, you get a sense of you have a taste of the course. Let's see what the syllabus requires us to do. First of all, what did you think about the syllabus? One word. Have you read it, by the way? If you have read it, what did you think about the syllabus? One word? Intensive? Okay. Somebody else is nodding, so I just feel that brings that. What other word about the syllabus? Okay, so you haven't read. So you will read the syllabus between now and next class, but let me close this and try to walk you through the most important parts that how to start right away. You can pull it up on the computer and it's easy. The information on the first page is about me, what find me, it's about the course, instructor, what find me. With regards to the office hours, I think I'm gonna change that, but I say that's probably try to ask first. Is it better for 1 to 3 in terms of office hours for you? Is it better that my office hours are 1 to 3 or 3 to 5? Which one's better? Does it matter? It doesn't. Okay. I also have the virtual hour between 7 and 8. Is that more appropriate? So I will log in at that time. I'll create the link and put it on our website, the course website, and you will use that link whenever I'm talking. What happens is that I open the link and stay there for an hour and a half. But I think it's more convenient. So it really doesn't matter whether it's 1 to 3 or 3 to 5. Because you're working, is it because you're working? So the virtual hour is okay. The book, please raise it up so I can see it. Hold it up. All right. This is a very good book I've been using for 20 something years. The author keeps producing new editions. The author of this textbook was Dr. Arnold Beverly. He was a professor in our early childhood program. When I came here as a faculty member, it was in its second edition. And I remember Dr. Arnold, when she was revising some of the new editions, she requested some information from all of us. So in a way, we're very proud to be. It's easy to read. It reads like a story, very easy to read, and it has a lot of information. I realized about 2 years ago that it has been translated into 13 languages worldwide. That's how much they like it. So I'm so proud that Dr. Odo was here. She retired in 2014, but we're still using her brain. So that is the textbook. You need it, absolutely. There is no way I can cover all the information in the book, because I also have to cover information that is not so much in the book, like the forensics and stuff. So you need the book. I know that students buy the book and then they sell it or they rent it and then it's gone. Why can't you buy your book and keep it? You don't think you're going to need to read books anymore once you're done with the course? Are you gonna sell your book? I know it's cheaper to rent, right? How much cheaper though? If you buy new, how much is it? $70. Yeah. And renting is how much?
It's like that I use it, it's like $20 to $40 for them to fix.
Yeah, it would be really nice for you to compose. And this is not the latest, well, it is the latest edition that I have, but this is 24. So Susan, I think, I don't know if she can come up with another edition. If she does, even if she does, this is pretty good. And all the books are not necessarily bad. In fact, books that were written a while ago tend to be really, really high quality comparing them to books that I see. Some of them only online, some of them only available one or the other. So this is a pretty good book. You also need journal articles, it's also on the syllabus, and you will need your computer. Please have your computer because we will certainly need the computer in class. Today I need to go through that structure because I really wanted to give you a flavor of what the course is going to be. But the structure of the course is the first 15 minutes, you write your journal. You come in, you start writing your journal right away. What are you writing about? What you read from this book. And page 9 of the syllabus gives you details of how to use what you read to write your journal. Your journals are important. They total up to 100 points of the final grade. So you submit the first time, it's 30 points. The second time, it's 30 points. The final journal is 40 points, so you cannot ignore that. The first time you submit your journal is going to be chapter 1 to 3. You write about what you've read, and the instructions for that are on page 9 of the syllabus. Don't forget that. Okay, I'm jumping ahead too much. Let's go back to the syllabus. So this class is not the course itself is not hybrid, but some modules are. And the reason they are hybrid is to allow you to have time to write. There's a lot of writing. This is a writing intensive course. It's a university course. It's our course, but the university has its leg on it. Everybody has to pass this course to move forward. It's writing intensive. The purpose is to make sure you can write professionally. So the assignments in this course are designed that way. So you get the intensive writing experience. And the journal is part of it. The reflective journal is part of it. And other assignments too. There's a lot of writing. That is why some of the classes you stay home to write. Okay? I know when I give students a class that is not, we're not meeting on campus, this is a writing class, they go party, right? That won't work for it. So a writing class is actually for writing. Just use 3 hours to write. It doesn't have to be exactly those 3 hours from 7 to 9, but you can use any 3 hours of the day because you're home or wherever you are. Do the writing because that counts. If you don't, you're going to start lagging behind, and that's not good. All right, so the second page you can ignore. That's what's meant for you, really. It's for people who want to see what it is. Skip the second page, page 3. Yeah, this is the writing intensive part of the course that I'm talking about. On page 3, bottom, you can see about percent, yeah. 54% of the grade is intensive writing assignment because the university wants every student to do intensive writing and supporting writing as well. Let me move forward and let you know how that will work. This one, it's okay. It tells you what you will do. You can come back to it later. And we go straight to the assignment. Yeah, this is what I want to do. This is your speak onto the laboratory really well. And the way the assignments are organized, you see that the assignment that is due the latest is the first on the syllabus because it's the most important. Because you have to start it like tomorrow. You haven't started it yet. This assignment is a meta assignment. It's a storybook-based language observation. What does it do? It gives you the opportunity to observe a child interacting with a caregiver using a book. You are the observer, not interact with the child. You are flying the wall. You're just looking at the caregiver, then the child, and the book. You can record it if the caregiver allows it to. If they say no, you cannot record. You can audio record or video record. Most of the time it works, because students talk to people within their friendship circles, family circles. I used to make it strictly within school settings, but things changed because it was becoming very difficult for students. So find someone who say okay to the point. So family members are okay, but your own child, your sister's child, that's fine. Your brother's child, that's fine. But someone, within the family, that's fine, but not your own child. So what do, you observe someone else interacting with the child using a book. The child has to be an infant. The child has to be an infant or toddler. Please try to keep the child under 2.5 years. Once it gets into 3 years, that is a preschooler. And the language is so developed at that time. This assignment will work. This is only for the small babies, like the ones on video or a little older. Once they go beyond 2.5, once they leave their toddler years, it won't work. So please don't go beyond 2.5 years. If you observe a 3-year-old, it doesn't count because a 3-year-old is conversational. They're using language just like you. Okay, so this is for infants or toddlers. So choose one child who's between the age of about 5 to 8 months, let's say 8 months, maybe the 6, all the way to 2.5 years. If I were you, I would stop at 2 years. Because once they get to 2.5, they're getting closer to preschool age and they're very, very grown. This assignment is designed to make you pay attention to the 5 aspects of language learning: phonemes, speech sounds, semantics, meanings of utterances. I know for the very young children, utterances may not even be clear, but the caregiver has a bit to figure out because they know how to interact with the child. Syntax, the grammar, morphemes, the units of meaning in a word, and the context. So the child has to be strictly under 2.5 years. If I were you, I'll keep it under 2 years. A 3-year-old, this will not work. So your first challenge, as you think of this right now, is to see if there's a child under 2 years. If it is over 2 years, maybe just a few months, not all the way to 6 months. Because by the time you get to observe, they say yes, by the time you get there, oh, you can't do that already. So try to keep it closer to 2 years. Do you have that child in mind? Okay, I'm glad to see them on. Yeah, that is perfect. As I said, a relative's child is fine. Your own child, I say no, because you're probably meant to be working more from memory than from observation. So you identify that. What do you do? What is the first thing you do? You give that person an informed consent form, even if it's a relative. Give them an informed consent form. And right now, go on D12, look at the form, you'll fill it out, you give it to someone. That someone will sign it, that legal guardian of the child will sign the form. You will scan it and drop it in the folder that I have for signed informed consent form. You cannot start the observation until you drop the form in that. Why? Because it is required. Not to protect the university, not to protect us. You may fight with your sister. First of all, you recorded my child. I don't know what you're doing with the video. I want to sue you. Don't mention my name. Don't mention the university's name either. They'll say, no, there's a consent form you're supposed to sign. If she signed the form, say, look, stay okay. You're good. So have them sign the informed consent form first, and then start the observation. Again, you are a fly on the wall. You're observing someone interacting with a baby about 6 months to about 2 years, not beyond 2 years too much, maybe a month or so. Don't let it get too close to 2.5. And I'm saying 6 months because it happened actually recently that one of my students observed a newborn baby, was it 2 months or 4 months? And the baby was just there like a lot of doing nothing. So the video was there, recording, nothing's happened. So the student said, what should I write about? I said, well, write about what you recorded. So the child wasn't doing much. Depending on the baby, some babies are just calm that way. If they're fed and they're comfortable, they don't do much. So that's why I'm saying maybe about 6 months, 8 months, all the way to about 2 years in the development. So what do? You record the interaction with the caregiver. You present that in class. That's your presentation. A few slides talking about what you observed, and everything has a scoring guide. Everything has a scoring. And then you write a report. Now, because of the writing intensive nature of this course, you write a draft and submit it. I have to look at the draft, and you earn points if the draft is complete. Not just scribbling a few pages, just get the points. No, it has to be the whole report. It may not have all the details, but every component on the grading sheet, on the scoring rubric, will be in the draft. You get 20 points for that, up to 20 points for that, depending on how much. But all the components have to be there for you to get any points. Those are 20, almost 3 points because you submit the draft and then general feedback. You submit the final one, you get points too. So you want to grab those points here and there. That will actually come from the submitting a draft that is almost complete can earn you up to 20 points. Any question about the major project? What is the these two continued consultations? Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. The peer tutor will come next week. Next week, we're also meeting here. Next class is next here. The peer tutor will come. This Emily, she was my peer tutor last semester, and I'm so glad that she's continuing to tutor for this class. What Emily will do, she will introduce herself to you, and she will tell you how she can help you. She can tutor you remotely, maybe in person, depending on your schedule. You schedule a time with her. And whenever you schedule a time with the tutor, automatically I get a note. The system tells me, so-and-so has met with this tutor for so long, and the topic was this. So if you have 2, you get another 22 points. Yeah, that's 20 points for free. So yes, those are things that come with this assignment because it is a writing intensive course, and those writing processes have to be. I'm thinking, I don't know. If you take a break, so it'll take us longer. Should we just do this and finish? If you want to step out, please do. If you need to step out because the watching over in the water, just do. Is it okay if I continue? Okay, thank you. Right, I want to see if you have any questions on this major assignment before we move on. Okay, continue reading about it. If you have any questions, you can ask. Yes, right.
The class. Honest.
No? The presentation, yes. You show the video or audio. We have to get the sounds of the baby. And you write, you have to refer to those 5 aspects. In fact, you organize your presentation according to the 5 aspects. You can have a slide, which is the topic of your presentation, your name, and the baby has to use a pseudonym. The name that's not real. First slide. Maybe second slide, you can do something else, or you can go straight to phonics. Slide 1. Slide 2, you can go to semantics. What evidence of semantics did you see from that recording? Slide 3, you can go to syntax. What evidence of syntax did you see from that recording? Slide 4, we go to pragmatics, morphemes. What evidence of morphemes did you see? For example, if the baby said, toys, oh, that's perfect. That's the one with 2 of it. Toy and toys. Toy and the S. Toy is one morpheme, the S is another morpheme because it adds meaning. And then pragmatics, the context of it. Usually with young children, the pragmatics is like grabbing the book and wanting to close it, or losing interest, or saying, I want this book or not that book, anything that has to be there. So it's pretty easy. It's a pretty straightforward assignment. It works very well if you start with. Then just finish it. And we'll sign up for the communication. I didn't sign up too. For those who present the first day, that is a lot of bonus points. 6 points if you present on the first day of the week. 6 bonus points. 3 bonus points if you present on the second day. And then the second one, so. We're gonna be one faster. Okay, this is raise your hand if you know something about parent newsletter. Parent newsletter. What is it? Can you tell me your classmate what it is? Just say it in the language that students understand. What is a parent newsletter? About, right? Okay, not just their child, about activities in the class. Okay. Usually it is one sheet, I insist on it. It has to be one sheet of paper. That's why if it is 3 pages, you lose points. But it has to be one sheet of paper with information in the front and information in the back. So how do people lose points? By not having different sections. I like to see format like boxes, some of them lengthwise, some of them that way. Okay, both sides. People lose points for leaving huge blank spaces, for using too much text and no visuals at all, no pictures, or for using too many pictures, no words, or for not differentiating the size of the writing. Because some people may have everything in the same font and size, but their contact information is the most visible one. No, that needs to be small. Contact information can be small. So they have a box going that way, rectangular, maybe another one that way, another one that way, maybe another in the middle. As long as you have the information package on the page, on both pages. So what you do, you create the newsletter. You can actually look at templates online, but you cannot copy them. You cannot copy anything from it. Look at templates and then create your own template. If you want me to show you how to create a simple template, I'll be more than happy to. But I know Canva does that very well. Even Word does that. So you can look at templates and develop your own, which is equally related better. So that is the parent newsletter. You bring the hard copy to class so that I can see it is actually one sheet before you submit on the D12. But then if you have information going all the way to the bottom, when you submit to D12, comes to 3 pages, you still lose one. It's important to have margins of about an inch on all sides. That will protect the 2 pages. It doesn't fall. And double-sided? Oh yeah. You have to have information on both sides. All right, and then that's the newsletter. You will do two journal article reviews. Now, do not confuse journal article reviews and reflective journal. Reflective journal is something you're writing about, what you read from this book. The first one is chapter 1 to 3. The second one is chapter 4 to 7. And the third one, I think I said it for some chapter. The journal reviews, the journal article reviews, you read an article. You read an article, and then you write comments about it. You summarize it and comment on the content of that journal article. Now, for the first, there are 2 of them. For the first one, you want it to be on infant or toddler. Focus on the young ones is tremendous. The first one has to be on infant and toddler language development, and the second one has to be on preschooler language development. Anything. For this one, brain research will give you a lot of information or anything related to that. For preschooler, things like second language, like language plays, language advanced children language would be very appropriate. And each one of them is due at a different pace, and you can see the scoring that on each one. Never submit anything before you see the scoring. Make sure you see the scoring guide and match your assignment to what is required, and then submit, because then you don't have any all the time. You don't have to earn all the time. I doing exactly what it says on the point. The preschool observation, I can even, not talk about now, but I'll just mention it. This year is actually, it's a very quick observation because preschoolers are 3 years old or 4 years. They use language just like you. They may make a mistake, but they're very broken. They're conversational. So you're still looking at the 5 aspects of language knowledge. Phoneme, syntax, semantics. Phoneme, semantics, syntax, bookings, and mathematics. But for them, you are not writing a paper. You're just summarizing what evidence you got from that in about 2 pages total and submit it. And then you bring that summary to class after you submit. When you submit it, you get 20 points. You bring it to class for discussion, in group discussion, you get another 20 points. Now, our students lose points here, they forget to submit it. And when they submit when you work in a group, you come up with a summary because you listen to everybody. You come up with a group summary, which is also another 20 points. So total get 20 points. You have to submit it first for 20 points, and then bring your summary and work with other students to get another 20 points. So the course is structured to give you points whenever it's possible to easily get them, use those opportunities, don't overlook them. That's why I say it's easy to do well in this class if you really follow what it said. So this is page 8. I've talked so much about this, the reflective journal. You read this is the reflective journal. You read chapter 1 to 3. You highlight any of the points here. Just 3 or 4 points. You relate those to experiences, whatever it says here. Everything is said here, page 9. You relate it to theory. Select 3 to 4 main ideas. You summarize in your own words. You reflect on it. You identify some prior experiences in your family, at work, relate to what it says in the book, and how that idea develops to professional development, how you are developing as a professional, and you just write. When you come to class, you are ready to write. So the reflective journals is done in class. So when we get here next week, because you already will have read chapter 1 to 3, you get here, just start writing your journal. Just write. And journal writing is a relaxing time. You're writing in a relaxed way. But if you get here and you're still flipping through the pages trying to read, that's not the best thing. So if you have your notes already on some like bullet points, but when you get here, just start writing, that is excellent. And there's another way I help students understand the assignments, which is workshop writing workshop. We'll start next week and see what that is. Writing workshops are not graded. You work with other students, maybe 2 or 3, and you write about an assignment. For example, you say, okay, the journal review assignment, what is that about? You talk about it in a group, you're talking about it, you're writing what the assignment. It's a way for you to understand. There's a lot of writing, but all of it is targeting your understanding. So simple quizzes really. That's on what is read. There's 4, I think the fifth one is alternate on the place one, and it's 75. The way it's built is not a lot of work, but because you get time to write at home, that really counts. The worst thing you can do is misuse that time, because then you come to class, you panic, you're like, how do you feel about the course now? Don't say overwhelmed. How do you feel about it? Say a word.
secure.
Sorry?
I said, I feel more secure now we went over.
Oh, thank you. How do you feel about the course? How do you feel? It looks like a lot of work, but believe me, it is also faster to start. Start by identifying a child to observe and trying to get the consent form signed, then you know it. So that is one. And it's not due until way later. Start looking for your journal, journal article for review. If you have doubts, ask me if they are appropriate, I'll let you know. You know, you can read it, summarize it, okay, done. Read the textbook, jot down your bullet points when you come to class, you use a journal using the bullet points. Sounds doable?
Like written notebook or what's better?
Well, better for you than for me. I mean, if it's easier for you to write with your pen or paper, that's fine. But I tell my students to start a folder on the computer, just call it in journal 1, so that in journal 1, chapter 1 to 3, chapter 1 to 3, you know you're already chapter 1 to 3, and every point you think is made, and you put it down in some point. When you come to class, you're just looking at the sub points and writing the continuation. It's very, that's a nice tool to start with. More questions? Yeah.
Is there, an orientation next?
Oh my God. I put that announcement. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yes, block 2, this is targeted for you. You need to know information about the content area test. You need to know information about uniforms. You need to know information about options. Okay. Some of you may not want a license, you may not be the degree only, no license. But we hope that just about everybody goes for the license, because it's really important. But if at some point you say, well, I don't have the license, for the degree, there's a possibility. So the orientation will give you very important information about how to survive the book and start early planning for your content test. Even if you do the degree, you still have to pass the test. But you do not still teach. You're not seeking license. To get the license, you have to teach. But to get the degree, you also have to pass the test. So content test will be the key information sharing part of it. Please plan to attend. It's virtual, so wherever you are, try to sign in. Thank you for reminding me. Any more questions? Please.
For when we have the final and the midterm, do we come to class for those days or no?
That's a good question. No, over my 20-something years of teaching, I realized that when you teach students in a time frame, they panic and they're running out of time and they're think properly. So I removed that completely. Every quiz, every exam will be done on a 24-hour basis.
Oh.
I uploaded 24 hours earlier. You upload it 24 hours later. So let's say there's a quiz due tomorrow, I would upload it tonight by 11:59. And you would submit your answers by 11:59 tomorrow. So there's 24 hours. You look for the best time to do it. How to maximize the time for it. To learn and do that. I know you go to your notes and to the book and for a friend. That's fine. That is also learning. So I don't mind. More questions. These are very helpful questions. Anything else for that? If you ask a question, I remember. And especially tell people attend that conference, because you don't follow the sequence of classes because you're already graduate students. You don't follow the sequence of classes. You can jump, you can hop around doing classes all over. So you want to know when you want to do the content test. Yeah, you want to know when you do what. Then you still have to do it. Unless you have a good reason to justify it. Which is a horrendous process. I know, it takes a lot of my time. Questions, because they remind me what I forgot. Anything else? Do you have enough to process between now and next week? Yeah, so please look at all the sporting guide, read the assignment on the syllabus, look at the sporting guide, have a good sense of it. When you come next week, please have questions for me so that I can answer those. And I'll have Emily to tell you more about the tutoring. All right, thank you so much for a wonderful first night of class. We did a lot. I'm impressed. We did a lot, and I'm glad we're able to do that video. I'm making you sign in. That's the only way I know you are here. And can I have the signing sheet back with my high? Thank you. Miriam, can I talk to you for a second?
Can I sign it? I didn't
Oh,
sign
yes. I'll find it. I'll see you next week, and thank you for your enthusiasm. You were really good sport today. I'm looking forward to the next class. It's a fun class, it's insane. See you next week. Thank you, thank you. All right. Good night. Good night.